Do you know how cavemen took pictures? First they'd smear cow dung on their faces, then slam a stone tablet right onto it.
Oh, let's do it again. I think I blinked.
And how did they take a bath? Simple, just beat themselves with sticks. When they disagreed, they'd throw grandma into the air.
Tails, thunks in.
These cavemen with strange ideas are the Croods, who lived in the ancient past. They originally had many neighbors, but unfortunately, all of them went extinct. The reason the Croods survived was because of their dad Grug, who was terrified of dying. In those dangerous times, Grug kept his family holed up in a cave most of the time. They only risk coming out to look for food when the hunger becomes unbearable. Once Grug confirms it's safe, the whole family will spring into action. One day, they discovered a bird egg. To decide who would steal it, Grug threw Grandma into the air. When they saw her buttocks facing up, Grug sent his son Thunk to grab the egg. Even though he grabbed the egg, but the next second, the mama bird knocked him to the ground. The mama bird snatched the egg and ran off. Mama Grug quickly chased after her, snatched the egg back, and tossed it to Grandma, who was running nearby. Well, soon after, with the family working together, they finally got the bird egg. The family took turns enjoying this hard-earned delicacy, but when it was Grug's turn, only one drop of egg liquid was left.
Oh, that's all right. I ate last week.
Seeing the sun setting, they rushed back into the cave. But that night, a flash of fire caught Eep's attention. It was the first time she'd ever seen something so magical. Driven by curiosity, she stepped out of the cave and followed the light. At the top of a hill, she found a torch, and there was a boy dressed in animal skins. Eep couldn't believe there were other humans besides them. The boy's name was Guy, and he had a ton of survival skills. He told Eep that a huge earthquake was coming, and they'd need to leave quickly to survive. Eep refused his invitation, so Guy gave her a conch shell, and telling her to blow it if she ever encountered danger. Soon after, the earthquake Guy had described seemed to hit. The ground cracked beneath their feet, and mountains began to collapse rapidly. Though Grug shielded his family with his body, the earthquake ultimately destroyed their home. Just as everyone was feeling sad, they discovered a new world behind the cave, one they had never seen before. There are many magical species here, like flying turtles, gourd-shaped bats, and irritable monkeys.
Alright, Dad, get him! Go get him! Okay, now you got him right. Oh, man. Dad, I got it!
Grug was totally helpless against them. Then, a colorful tiger suddenly appeared. Grug threw rocks at it, but it didn't help. They tried to climb a tree, but the tree turned out to be a monster's leg. They were carried by the monster to a clearing. When they saw a cave, they instinctively ran inside. But the next moment,
What is this cave? It's awesome!
it turned out that this wasn't a cave, but the mouth of a land whale. The whale sneezed, throwing them out. Before they could recover, a flock of red birds popped out of the ground. Though they seemed harmless, they were highly aggressive and devoured a whale in seconds. They turned on the Croods next. In a critical moment, Eep quickly blew the horn. When Kaveh heard it, he realized something was wrong. He immediately ran over to Eep's side and used the torch to scare off the bird flock, successfully saving them. Impressed by Guy's abilities, the Croods decided to kidnap him, wanting him to help them find a new place to live. Along the way, Guy helped them with many things. When they found sharp spikes on the ground, Guy made shoes for each of them.
They're still there?
When they encountered irritable monkeys, Guy bribed them with bananas and make them move out of the way. When they saw tigers at the bottom of a cliff, Guy made stilts out of branches so they could easily cross. When it rained heavily, Grug thought it was a monster attack, but Guy solved the problem with a single leaf. After spending some time together, everyone grew to appreciate the smart boy. He even started to influence the father's position in their hearts. To regain his family's respect, Grug copied Guy's hairstyle and invented some really confusing stuff. For example, this leather belt.
Is that a snake?
It's even self-tightening. Ow!
And this so-called ride, which nearly crushed the entire family as soon as it was started. The next invention was the most advanced of all. With just a slap on the face, the first photograph in history was created. But instead of gaining the family's approval, Dad's actions only made everyone feel like he was causing trouble. This made Grug extremely angry, and he rushed over to fight Guy. Unfortunately, an earthquake struck again right at that moment. They ran with Guy all the way, and finally arrived at the place leading to tomorrow. Before they had a chance to celebrate, the ground fissure came rushing toward them. Guy had originally planned to lead them across, but they was a step too slow. They were left on the island, which was about to collapse. In a critical moment, the father decided to sacrifice himself to give his family a chance to survive. He used all his strength to throw them one by one across a cliff to safety. After making sure everyone was safe, Grug stumbled back to the cave. He lit a torch using the method Guy had taught him. When he tried to share it with his family, he realized they were no longer around. Then he grabbed some dirt and drew his family on the wall. With the presence of his family, even death no longer scared him. Suddenly, Grug felt movement behind him. It was the colorful tiger, but it meant no harm. It just wanted some warmth. At that moment, the sound of a horn came from the distance. Grug thought his family was in danger. In order to save them, Grug brainstormed and quickly came up with a plan. He found a giant skeleton and covered it in tar. He then shouted loudly to attract the red birds' attention. When the birds flew toward him, Grug lit a torch and hid with the tiger inside the skeleton. When the birds got close, they got stuck in the tar. In this way, Grug used his clever mind to successfully create a dirigible. He used the torch to control the direction of the red birds, moving forward. At the very last moment before the island collapsed, they successfully made their escape. After all the struggles, the family was finally reunited. From that moment on, they would continue to live on this beautiful land. To celebrate their rebirth, Grug decided to capture this wonderful moment with the camera he had created.
Oh, let's do it again. I think I blinked.